My sister and I are lifelong Relient K fans. I don't even remember a time when I didn't know who they were. This year they're going on tour for the first time in 5 years. We have tickets to the first night and the last night. So we decided we want to take a look at each of their individual albums with a retrospective look, starting the week of the first show and ending right before the last. 7 weeks, 8 albums. This is Relient K Revisited.
Okay, so
This week we listened to Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, but Three Do, the third album by Relient K. And I, upon immediate start, was like, this is Relient K.
Yeah, I think it's the most fun album.
Yeah, well, it's like, the first two are good, but this is like them becoming Relient K.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like we've made it. It's definitely a better album. I think it's honestly a perfectly structured album because, like, listening to it 59 minutes, almost an hour. It doesn't feel that long.
It doesn't. Because,
like, it's structured so well to where you'll have, like, a couple fast songs, somewhat slow song, a couple fast songs.
Yeah.
And it just flows really well.
Yeah, I think this is the one, like, if people asked, how do I get into Relient K? I think this is the album I would give them first.
Maybe. This one or the one that comes after it.
Yeah.
They didn't play any of these songs at the concert.
Did they not?
No.
I didn't think about it. I guess they didn't.
They didn't. You know, we've talked about how Jesus-y each album is. This one is by far the least Jesus-y so far.
Yeah.
But also, the thing I've noticed is even the Jesus-y songs are more introspective than they are about, like, talking to other people about their relationship with Jesus. It's more about... Because it's like, I Am Understood and Getting Into You, which are those the only two?
Quite possibly.
I think they're the only two.
There are some songs that had lines in it that have that slant, but yeah, those are the only two that are like totally...
This is definitely when a lot of the songs start becoming, could be about a girl, could be about Jesus.
Yeah.
They start really walking that line extremely well.
Yeah. And this album, so the first two... like the outside exposure I had to those was TVU. This one, I Am Understood and Getting Into You. My Sunday school classes would get random CDs with like a mix of contemporary. It wasn't contemporary, it was like alternative worship songs. And both of those were on one. So it's a good worshipy kind of introspective song.
I think Getting Into You would be an extremely good worship song.
Yeah.
I've always thought that. Like, it's written so well. I think it's very easy to sing along with. It's decently churchy, like, sounding-wise. I think it'd make a great worship song. Yeah. But the funny thing, I Am Understood and Getting Into You were actually released as a single for this album.
Oh.
Could you imagine
that being
those two being your impression of this album?
Like, I think the whole album's going to be that. And
then
then I get mood rings and...
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, which I love I Am Understood. I love the sound of it. I love the words of it. I adore that song.
Absolutely.
It's probably my favorite Jesus-y Relient K song. It's so good. Except for maybe the newer stuff. But... it's so good. I love this album. I really do. I like it a lot more than I realized I did going into it.
Right. The first Relient K show we ever went to, we wore pink tux t-shirts.
Yeah, it was like the first, like, 4.
The school that our dad worked at for their prom one year, it was a white t-shirt with a tux, like, design on it, and we dyed them pink. And then wore them to the first 2 or 3 Relient K shows we went to. Yeah. I think that was the first time you and I, like, loaded up and went to a concert. We drove down to Nashville, went to Rocket Town. Yeah. And saw Relient K. Waited in line with a bunch of other Relient K fans. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Well, and we got them signed because we had signatures on each sleeve.
We did.
Because I remember, I don't know if it was the first concert or the second concert, but we went to meet, I think it was Schneck afterwards. And we went up to him, and he was like, "The pink tuxes!"
Which we tried to start on Instagram.
We tried to start an Instagram, and it lasted like 2 posts.
But it was before we were really into
social media.
Yeah, especially Instagram.
Yeah.
It was before it had blown up as much as it has now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we thought that was going to be our trademark.
And also, I wore a pink tux to prom. My sophomore year, I wore a pink tux.
Shout out to Anna Solomon.
Yeah.
Because she asked, were you a freshman? Is that what you said?
I was a freshman. No, sophomore.
Oh, yeah. She asked you because she wanted somebody who would wear a pink tux because it was her senior prom.
Yeah.
And she was like, Ethan will do it.
Yep. This is how big of a fan Anna is. She's getting married on the day of the last show. And she and her husband-to-be will be leaving their wedding and driving to go to that concert.
Yeah, I think she's a bigger fan than we are.
She's
she's more dedicated
fan.
than we are.
Well, she also has hung out with Hoops. She
yeah.
knows them really well. Speaking of Hoops, I Did It Again is the most meta song. Mm-hmm. If you don't know the name, I remember not knowing what the reference was.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I thought it was a basketball joke.
Because you were so young when we were listening to this, I think the Kids on the Street has always made me think of, you would totally have walked up to them on the street when you were a kid.
Hey, you got a little beard and mustache going on since the last time I saw you.
That would have been you at 6 or 7.
Yeah. I don't understand that track.
No,
it's
so
not we're looking at the Wikipedia right now. There is nothing about it on there. I'm sure someone knows what it is. I have no clue. The second time that we've had a really short song on an album.
Well, and I wouldn't even call that a song. It's just a track.
Just a little snippet.
It's just a track because there's no music.
We also, we have this on CD, and then we would have imported the CD into our MP3 players and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a name for that track.
No, we didn't.
It was just track 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Kids on the Street until I listened to it on Spotify.
Yeah.
I love Mood Rings. I will forever love Mood Rings. It is hilarious.
It is very funny.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I think it's a song that... There's a few songs on this, actually, that I think could stand really well just in the punk scene, just in pop punk music, and I'm surprised they didn't get bigger.
Yeah.
I think this album is a good example of the Christian label hurting how big these songs could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they got big on the next one, but this one wasn't huge.
No.
But I think Gibberish, Mood Rings, College Kids, all of those could do really well in just pop punk.
Yeah.
Because they're good songs, they're funny.
College Kids was my ringtone in college.
Yes, it was.
Which, when this came out, I would have been in 6th grade, so... Those many years later, as soon as I started college, I had been waiting to make College Kids my ringtone.
Yeah. Which it applies to me pretty well because I'm a college dropout.
Yeah, I am not, so it didn't really apply to me.
No,
but
it applies to me.
I did resonate with the Please Save Us College Kids.
There's a lot of songs on this that I want to dive into the lyrics a bit more. Falling Out, Forward Motion, and Trademark are songs that I feel probably have really good meaning, but I've never really divulged.
No, I sing along with it, but I don't.
Yeah, overthinking probably does too. I'm very curious as to how he came up with the words for Gibberish. Yeah. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, these are pretty well made. Mm-hmm. They're made in a way that they could be real words,
right?
From a different language. So I want to know how he came up with those.
Maybe they actually mean things. It's a code.
Maybe. It's actually another language. It's just Canadian.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's him speaking Canadian.
How about the hidden track on
this one? The hidden track on this one is... It's interesting.
It's like a dream sequence.
I don't even know.
Well, it's definitely a dream sequence.
And it was all because it fades into it.
I don't know if it's Thiessen dreaming about himself being the world's worst rapper, or
he plays 2 parts in it.
Does he?
He raps at first, and then he's the world's worst rapper.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
then it goes into
Silly Shoes. I love the Silly Shoes part.
It's pretty awesome.
The worst part though is the pepperoni.
And then that's when
because
it goes into
I remember riding in a girl's car with this CD in. I was showing it to her for the first time, and it ends, and I had to be listen, this is about to do something really weird, so don't judge me on this.
Right.
I think it's a great hidden track though. I will forever chant with the Silly Shoes part. Yeah. Like, I want to know what silly shoes they are. My headcanon is that they're penny loafers.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have been Crocs then, but they're Crocs now.
Yeah. But I also really love Jefferson Aeroplane. I really I forget how much I like that song because I associate it with the hidden track.
Right.
But on its own, it's actually really good.
It is.
This is just a good album.
It's solid.
It's a solid album.
Yeah.
Like, of the three we've listened to, this is my favorite.
I mean, yeah, because the other two we haven't listened to on repeat like we have this one.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, last week we talked about how we, like, pick and chose with Anatomy, but I don't think I did that with this one.
Just kind of play.
Yeah. I might have skipped Getting Into You just because it's so much slower. But yeah, I would have just listened to this.
Right.
It's such a good album. And we were talking about how there's the 4 different covers and then the gold edition cover. We have no idea which cover we had because we only know the CD.
Yeah.
I guess we bought this and then threw away the case and
Probably.
just put it in a sleeve.
Yeah. We didn't want to deal with all the cases in the car, so we just had like a flip organizer.
Yeah. We put them in that little McDonald's CD case that we had.
Oh, the Hello Kitty one?
Yeah. Well, we had a green one too.
Well, it was like, the one I had was blue and glittery, and it had Hello Kitty in the middle, and that was a good McDonald's toy.
That's such an early 2000s thing.
Yeah, it is. I forgot about that.
Like, McDonald's gave us a CD case.
The other 2 albums were cheesy.
Yeah, so Dan Bacchitis has been commenting on all of these videos, and a few of my other videos for a very long time. And he evidently doesn't think I'm shallow or have no integrity.
Integrity, yeah.
So, thanks, Dan Bacchitis.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. And he has coined the term cheesy, which, thankfully, we are done with the cheesy era of Relient K. This is 2003, so this is like, I feel like this album is them being the Christian Blink-182.
Maybe.
Like, that's really what this is. This is them coming into their own, being like, they were pretty big in the Christian scene at this point.
Yes.
Was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rock Gospel Album.
Oh, there you go.
Good Lord, I could go on a rant about that for days. Rock Gospel Album. Every time I listen to In Love with the 80s, I debate on shaving down to a mustache and getting one ear pierced.
Your left ear.
My left ear.
Pierced.
Yeah. But I'm not going to.
We did talk about chapstick, chap lips, and things like chemistry is pretty dated because they talk about daytime minutes and nights and weekends.
Yeah.
It's not really a thing anymore.
No. And honestly, I forgot how old this album is.
Yeah.
Like, I forget how old is, which makes me, like, when I envision this album, I'm thinking like 2005.
Right.
But it's not. Early 2003. Recorded in 2002. That's crazy. This band is old. Good album. I'm ready for next week.
I'm ready for next week.
I'm ready because yep.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a Relient K fan understands why. Because, yeah. But yeah, good album. Join us next week when we listen to the most awkward album title to discuss in person.
Especially when they don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah. Like, I regularly will have people ask me, like, what album should I start with? And I go, And they're like, what? Thank you. Go listen to something new. Something that makes you slightly uncomfortable because you've never listened to it before. Forever.